Alrighty, so continuing on from last lesson on the structure of Earth, today we're going to be looking at the composition of the Earth. So we'll start with a similar format. Let's start off with our crust layer, which, as you know from our last video, is made up of two types. There is oceanic crust here, so oceanic crust, and then there is continental crust. Now, the composition of continental crust is very felsic. So I'll write that down. Felsic. Now, what felsic means is that it's rich in feldspar and silica. So the rocks in continental crust tend to be fairly light colored. So feldspar plus silica. Oceanic, on the other hand, is mafic. Now, mafic means it is rich in magnesium and iron. So these rocks tend to be fairly dark colored. So you have your two different types of crust, your continental and your oceanic. Your continental is felsic, which means it's rich in feldspar and silica, and you have your oceanic. It's mafic, and it's rich in magnesium and iron. Now, directly beneath our crust, we have our mantle. Now, the mantle is a heterogeneous region, which means that it is made up of more than one rock type, but it does have a minor boundary. In the upper mantle, we have what is called peridotite. Lots and lots of peridotite. And peridotite basically means there's plenty of olivine. Lots and lots of olivine. Now, olivine is a very green colored mineral, and it's also very ultramafic. So it's very dark. Peridotite is very dark, much darker than mafic compositions, and it's the predominant type of rock that occurs in the upper mantle. Now, in the lower mantle, however, things start to deform because pressure and temperatures start getting a bit too high. And at these really high temperatures, olivine isn't stable. So all you need to know here is that there's sort of like a mixture, a soup of melded alloys of rocks. And what we know is that they're ultramafic. Very, very mafic. Lots and lots of iron and magnesium. And a hypothetical name that we give to this sort of rock is pyrolite. So pyrolite. There you go, pyrolite. And this is a mixture of magnesium, iron, and olivine. And there are other names like eclogite and all sorts of weird stuff like that, but at the moment all we need to realize is that this is an ultramafic soup in the lower mantle. Now, as we move closer and closer to the center of the Earth, we get our denser and denser materials. So our core, as you realized from our last video, is completely made out of metals. So in our outer core, we have our iron, which is liquid, and we have our nickel, which is liquid as well. And the reason why they're liquid is because the pressure and temperatures are so high down here that the metals exist as a liquid. Pressure isn't so high that the molecules have nowhere to vibrate, but it's just low enough so that they are able to turn into their liquid forms, liquid states. And as you know, in our core, we have them existing as solids because the pressure is so great. So we have our core, we have our outer core, sorry, I should say this is the inner core. We have our mantle, and we have our crust. And I think that's all we need to know at this point. Thank you very much.